Let's go ahead and get rolling here. Once again, my name is Paul Michael. I am a one of the founders of Revo RideShare, but there's a lot of people that are involved with this and have a big part in this. And so I'll just tell you a little bit about my background, why we came into existence. I've been in sales, marketing, owning companies in different industries over the last 30 years. And one of the biggest things I was taught a long time ago is if you find a big solution to a big problem, you usually get a big paycheck. And that's what I've done. I've been able to do that in different industries, gold buying. I was in the loan industry. I was in all kinds of different industries. But about 8, 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, even now, a little bit less than that. I think about 8 years now. One of my business partners came to me and said, "Hey, why don't we get into the delivery business?" This is when apps were just starting to come out. No 20, 30 years ago, none of us thought we'd pick up a phone and be able to go, "Hey, I'm going to punch a button and have food delivered to my house." But we were on the cutting edge of that right when Uber and DoorDash and some of the other companies were coming out. We did very well. We had a company that went to about 300 cities, doing about 30 million a year. But one of the reasons why I didn't want to keep doing it forever is because of the fact that I just realized that, it just wasn't something I wanted to be a part of because they charged the restaurants so much money. I mean, they were charging the restaurants up to 30% to do these different things. And so I just got to a point where I was like, I'm going to move on. We had sold our company out to some other bigger companies. And then I was asked to, consult on another company that was kind of going to do it in the same way I wanted to do it. But I really got excited because I'm in disruption. I like to disrupt things. I like to build things that go against the norm, and that didn't really serve me when I lived in my mother's house and I went to high school. They didn't really like disruption, but nowadays I get paid for it. And so we did very, very well. I got out of the business about 6 months ago. We've got back in the delivery business. We disrupted a couple other industries. We built over $10 billion company in receivables in about 2 years with another one of our programs with my business partner. And then about 4, 5, 6 months ago, I got bored. And when I get bored, one of two things has happened. I'm going to get in trouble or I'm going to go build something. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go build something. And so I travel a lot. I'm in cars all the time. I know the driving part of it because of delivery. And, when I first went through my divorce, I ended up driving for Uber and Lyft, or Lyft wasn't even around back then. So I started talking to drivers and I started realizing there's a big need for something different. There's a need for a revolution, which is why our company's named Revo. And so I started talking to drivers about like what they didn't like, what was wrong with what's going on. And I started talking to them. They talked about how they don't like the earnings roller coaster, how the high commission fees, the wear and tear on their car, oversaturation, all the things you can see on the screen right now. And when it really, really hit home to me was I was on a ride in Utah. I had an hour ride. I had to schedule it the night before, 5:30 in the morning. I got the Uber or I don't even know if it was Uber, but one of the services, their top car, it was $263 to go an hour. Now, the driver had to get up early. The driver had to do all the work. The driver had to do everything, right? Wear and tear on their car, had to get up early in the morning, hope they were going to get a tip. All those things, I ended up paying $263 for that ride. That driver, all they got was $95. That's not a good deal. That's not good for the driver. Does that make sense? And so I started thinking about it, and I know how to build apps. I found the developer to go out and build a state-of-the-art app. We're adding to it every day. Things are getting better. We're going to have all the bells and whistles and things that they don't even have. I can tell you some of the things tonight at the end, some of the things that we have coming. But I got excited because the more I talked to drivers, the more I realized there was a need. And so I put together a program that our program is built on the blockchain, which I'm not going to get into a lot tonight, but it's the cutting edge. It's the wave of the future. It's how business is going to be done with Web3 and going into technology. Blockchain technology is growing faster than any technology in the history. And most of you probably haven't even heard of it yet. But I started realizing that, 20 years ago, like I said, when I was a kid, my parents all taught me not to get in a car with a stranger. Now you punch a button on your phone and you have a stranger come and pick you up. But I knew there was a better way to do it. And so when people ask me exactly how our program works, I'll kind of explain a little bit of it tonight. But what I really wanted to let you know is there's three things in this program. And if you can get these into your head and you can understand this, you'll be so much further ahead, because so many people get bogged down in the details. They want to understand exactly per mile rate and this rate and that rate. What I will tell you is this. When people ask me how things are going to work with Revo, I tell them, listen, all I know is our clients will pay less, our drivers will make more, and every time you or I refer someone that does one of those two things, we can get paid for it. And we can get paid over and over and over. Like, Revo combines cutting-edge blockchain technology with an action-based reward system that can create long-term residual income on a global scale. Our core values are centered on bringing value to our clients, drivers, and referral partners. Now, there's two parts to our business. And when somebody takes a ride, and listen, no one gets paid in our company unless someone does a ride. But instead of taking millions of dollars and putting it into advertising, instead of putting $100 million into a Super Bowl commercial or how much ever they spend, we wanted to take the people that help us spread the word of Revolution, of Revo, and pay those people over and over and over. How many of us that are on here tonight know someone who uses Uber, who uses Lyft? How many of us on here know that someone that may supplement their income or do this on a full or part-time basis and drive for one of these services? So there's two parts to what we do. Now, there's a mileage fee and there's a referral fee. And those two things are separate, but they go together. And just remember what I said, our clients will pay less, our drivers will make more, and then whoever refers that person that does a drive or is a client will make some of that money. So let me explain to you how it works. Now, the customer chooses, on every ride, there's a mileage fee. Every ride. Now, on top of that mileage fee, the customer chooses a flat rate pricing of either $5 per ride, or they pay $30 a month and they get unlimited. They don't have to pay the $5. Now, they'll always pay the mileage. But like I said, remember, always going to be less than what they're paying now, and the drivers are always going to make more. So they pay $30 a month. If they do more than 6 rides in a month, doesn't that make sense for them to do that? Now, the customer pays $5 a ride, $30 a month, or if they want to save even more money. Now, I know some people that use it every single day to and from work. They don't even have a car. I talked to a gentleman the other day that says, my son won't get a car. Like, he likes not having to have the insurance payment and the car payment and all these different things. Now, what if a customer says, listen, I want to pay $250. I'm going to save $110 over that monthly fee. Now, all I got to do is pay that, I pay that $250 once a year. Now, all I do is I pay that mileage fee. That is going to save them hundreds of thousands of dollars over using one of these other programs. Now, on the driver side of it, the driver earns all of the mileage fee except $1. And that goes into the referral program. Now, the drivers keep all but $1 on every single ride. And when I get to the referral program and how that works, I think you're going to be really excited. So on a standard ride, now remember, the driver keeps everything but $1. Now, on a standard ride, though, if you're the one, if I go, maybe you, myself, or you, say you refer me as a client, and I have a, in our back office, you will get a referral code. You can send that people out. When they download the app, every time they do a ride, if they pay $5 per ride, you're going to make 20% or $1 per ride. Now, on the Freedom Pass, if you refer me, and instead of me wanting to do $5 a ride, if I do more than 6 times in a month and I say, hey, you know what? I want to save money. Now, I pay $30 a month. You're going to make 20% of that you're going to make 20% of that $30, or you're going to make $6. On the annual pass, I paid $250 a year, you're going to make 20% or $50 annually. On the driver program, remember how I told you the driver makes everything but $1. Now, if you're the person that referred the driver, how many of us know drivers? Some of you are on here tonight and you are a driver. Some of you know more drivers. Guess what? Every single time that driver does a ride, we're going to take that $1. You're going to make 20% or 20 cents per ride. Now, there's some other bonuses and some overrides. If you start building some teams with us and you kind of grow this thing with us and become more of a leader within our company, there's some more bonuses. But even with what this is right here, let me show you an example. Let me make sure I didn't miss it. Now, like I said, these are only examples, not a guarantee of income. They're all based on production. But in this theoretical example, you're going to have let's say you have 1,000 clients. Some of you are going to be surprised how many clients you have over the next couple of years. Some of you have already gotten 200 or 300 clients, and we haven't even opened your city yet. Now, let's just say within a year, you get 1,000 clients, and each one of them does one ride on a monthly basis. Now, we all know most people that do rides, if they use Uber or Lyft, they do it over and they do it over and they do it over, right? So if 1,000 clients in a month that do $1 per ride, you're going to make $1,000. Let's say you have 1,000 clients in a month that opt out or opt in for the $6 or the monthly rate. You make $6. Now that's 6,000 a month. What if you had 3,000? What if it took you 5 years? And each year you added, let's say it took you 3 years. Each year you add another 1,000 clients on. 3,000 clients in a year that took advantage of the annual fee or the annual program subscription program where they saved $110 a year off the monthly fee. And you made only $50 on them. That's $150,000 on a residual monthly basis, or I'm sorry, yearly basis in this example. Now, will you do that? Maybe, maybe not. But let's just look at drivers. I know some people that have over 500 drivers and we haven't even opened in the city yet. I know people that have over 200 drivers and we haven't opened in a city yet. Now, listen, if you get a client, that client's with you for life. I don't care if you sign that client up in LA, but you live here in Puerto Rico where I am right now. Forever, that client is linked to you. Anytime they do a ride with Revo, you're going to get paid. Anytime they do something with us, you're going to get paid. Same thing with drivers. Our technology is such built on the blockchain, it will track everything for you. It's all transparent. It's all out there for anyone to see. And let's say you had 1,000 drivers at some point. I'm working with some people out of Minnesota that I know one of the guys has over 7,000 drivers that he has access to. I know people all over the country that have access to a lot of great drivers. Let's say you had 1,000 drivers and each one of those drivers did 15 trips a day. The average driver does between 10 and 20. So let's take the medium. Let's say they do 15. You got 1,000 drivers that do 15 trips on a daily basis. 15,000 trips times 365 times, let's say they do it every single day for the year. And I'm not talking about you driving. I'm talking about somebody that you brought in who goes out and treats this as a business. And you got 15,000 trips on a daily basis for a year at 20 cents. That's an extra $3,000 a day. Now, I know some of you are going, that's far-fetched. And you know what? Maybe you're right. This is not something that I'm telling you you're going to get rich quick at. I'm not telling you this is something you're going to make so much money overnight. But what I am telling you is if you decide you want to lock arms with us, be on the cutting edge of how things are going to go in this industry, no one has tried to go against these guys. No one has tried. And listen, we couldn't do it either if we were trying to do it in a certain way. If we were trying to just outspend them, we're not going to do it. But revolution is not about outspending. Revolution is about tapping people on the shoulder going, hey, there's a better way over here. Hey, there's a better way over here. Hey, there's a better way. And then banding together. And now listen, on top of what we do here, we also have Revo as the first rideshare program utilizing blockchain technology and action-based reward system. Every time a ride is completed, our action-based reward system issues rewards in the form of tokens to Revo clients, drivers, and referral partners. Now, these tokens, you can use those for rides. Now, I'm not saying someday maybe they'll be worth something, but in the beginning, if on top of it, like, listen, I'll just tell you, I use Marriott. I had over 560,000 points with Marriott. And then I started staying at the Ritz in New Orleans because of somebody in my life that liked to stay there. And my points went from 560 to 21,000. But guess where you'll never catch me unless I absolutely have to stay somewhere else. I had to stay at the Four Seasons and I know it sounds horrible. Oh, you had to stay at Four Seasons. But I hated every minute of staying at the Four Seasons in Nashville last week because I wasn't getting points when there was a Marriott right down the road. But I had to be at the Nashville at this place for a reason. But I really wanted to be at the Marriott. Now, if we're giving someone a better price, we're paying our clients are paying less, our drivers are making more. And on top of it, if you refer people, you can make an income. But on top of that, if I'm somebody and I go, listen, I can either use one of these other services or I can use this one, save money and get rewards that I can use later on for rides. Maybe I can give those to people. Maybe someday they might become worth something. Maybe not. But I can use those tokens for a reason within our ecosystem. And I am not going to get into that tonight, but I'm just telling you the excitement, the buzz, the energy, the drive, the ambition from everything that we're doing right now is second to none. And I'm so excited about where we're going, what we're doing, how we're doing it. Somebody invited you on tonight to see what we're doing. I mean, on a Thursday night, we have 72 people. Probably have more if I wasn't late. So I apologize once again for that. But I will just tell you this. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to beg you to do what we're doing. I'm here to tell you that this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And I've seen opportunities before. I've been involved in different things where I've made hundreds of millions of dollars. I've been very successful in things. But I know without a shadow of a doubt, this is going to dwarf anything and everything I've ever done. This is something that you can get involved in now. You don't have to pay a dime. You don't have to spend any money. When we get open, we're about to start opening nationwide in a very, very short amount of time. In the beginning, we will do it on a reservation basis. Somebody within, as long as it's 30 minutes or longer, and we have drivers in that city, we'll be able to open your city. You don't have to have 50 drivers, 100 drivers, 200 drivers. You could have 10. Now, we're going to ask that those drivers be fail-safe drivers. Like if all else fails, you're going to make sure you take these rides. That's how we build this thing. But we are about to unleash this thing on the company, on the country in a big way. And we're going to make it so that you get rewarded every single time you do something. If you're the person that's helping us build this company, we want you to benefit from it long term. You know, we've got a group of people that were our founders that got started in the beginning when there was nothing going on. Those people are going to be rewarded long term. Some of you that are getting in now, you're going to be rewarded long term. And some of you are going to sit here tonight and go, you know what? I don't think that's ever going to work. Okay. And I'll just tell you this. Look up Dana White. He uses a little bit more flowerful language than I'm going to use tonight, but I would tell you to bet against us or not to bet against us, to be honest. I know the people that are involved in this. I know the backing that we have financially. I know that we don't have to spend. I was on a phone call today with some guys and they were like, listen, you know, we have this and we have this. And they're asking me, how much money have you spent to get a driver? Like, how much is your cost per driver click? And I said, 0. I don't spend a dime to get people involved in this company, and I never will because they don't need to. The opportunity should be enough for somebody to understand. Nobody from any of the other companies that's sitting there going, hey, if you get started with us, if you recruit a driver, I'm going to pay you for that driver being good. I'm going to pay you for that driver staying with us. I'm going to pay you for every drive that driver does for as long as they're with the company. Like, I am building something that is going to put a dent in the universe, and we're doing it because we have amazing technology, but more importantly, we have amazing people. So I appreciate you jumping on with us tonight. I don't want to go too in depth in detail and take much of your time, but I will tell you one of the things that we're coming up with right now within the next week. I was hoping it was done by today, but I talked to my developers and they want to make sure it's right. They're testing it. Sometime next week, we will be giving some of your cities the opportunity to have reservation. Start taking reservations. Now, I know some of you are in different cities. We're getting a license. We're working on those things. We got to make sure we got to do everything right. But we're going to start opening cities, and we're going to start this revolution by opening through doing reservations. If I'm here and I'm sitting here on my phone, as long as I do it 30 minutes out, I'll be able to book a car with our company. In the next 90 days, I'll have a program put up to where some of you are going to be able to rent your car out by the hour. Now, when I travel, if I go out on a night, if I go out in Miami, for sure, I'm usually almost 90% going to rent a car service for the evening. And the reason for that is because if I get out of a restaurant, I don't want to wait 15 to 20 minutes for a car. I want to have a driver right there waiting on me. And let's say that driver usually costs me $80 to $90 an hour. I had my son asked me the other day, hey, Dad, can I use your driver? My friends and I want to go out and we don't want to drink while we're driving. And we want to go to a couple different places and not have to wait for an Uber. And I said, you want my car service? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, that's like $80 to $100 an hour. And I said, does it have to be like, does it really have to be that car service? It cost me $80 to $100. He goes, Dad, I don't care what car it is. I just want somebody that can take me and my friends out, and we don't have to worry about drinking and driving. We don't have to worry about this and this and this. And something struck me. I'm like, what if I could give the opportunity for people to have their car service? Now, we'll have limos. We'll have black SUVs that can do it by the hour. But what if my kid wants to rent somebody that has a minivan? What if my kid wants to rent, what if a group of girls want to go out and they want to be able to rent, a car, but they don't want to spend $90 an hour? What if we can open that up and offer a niche that nobody else has? And that's what we can do as a company. We're going to treat our customers well. We're going to celebrate what we want to duplicate. What if you're a driver and every time you get a 5-star rating, you get more reward points? What if you're a client and every time you get out of the car, that driver rates you, and if they rate you a 5 because you were nice and you weren't rude and you were on time and you were there waiting, guess what? Maybe you get more reward points. Maybe those reward points can be used for rides later on. Maybe they can use other things in our ecosystem. We are going to celebrate what we want to duplicate. Every time you do something within our company associated with a ride, you're going to get points. And those are going to add up because we're going to treat people the way they should be treated. Like I said, we're going to celebrate what we want to duplicate. So I appreciate you jumping on with me tonight. I'm not going to go through a lot, but you can get with the person that invited you on. We're working on videos. I'm going to be actually in Hawaii next week with a lot of our top developers, and all kinds of things are coming down the pike. So I would encourage you, get with us, get started, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.